Hey guys! I'm here today for a book haul. This is 14 books that I have bought on Amazon. I had a gift card that I still needed to use, so I used it to buy these books. And I'm really excited because these are books that I've been wanting for a while now, so I was finally able to get them, and yeah, so I guess we'll get started. I'll just give like a brief description of each book so it's not too long. So yeah, with that, let's just get started. So the first book I got is Forget You by Jennifer Echols. This is the first book I have purchased by her, so I'm anxious to see how I like it. It sounded really intriguing. The description says it's about this girl who wakes up in the hospital with no memory of how she got there, and she knows that she went out the night before with her boyfriend, and after that it's kind of a blank. I think it might have been she was in an accident or not, I don't know. But yeah, so throughout the next few days she notices that her boyfriend has all of a sudden become distant from her, and there's this new guy who's all of a sudden paying more attention to her. So she's kind of trying to figure out what's going on, what happened, and yeah, Mara Dyer, anybody? I don't know if it's just because I'm reading that, but I thought of some similarities there. Yeah, so anxious to read this and see what it's all about. So the second book I got is also by Jennifer Echols, and it is called Going Too Far. So what this one is about is this girl who's kind of more out there, and she meets this cop who's more kind of, I guess you can say, introverted, I don't know the thing, but more just keeps himself type guy, and he's trying to help her realize that she shouldn't keep putting herself in all these dangerous situations, and she's trying to help him realize that you gotta live a little bit more on the edge. So it's just kind of like, usually it's bad boy meets good girl, so it kind of seems like the roles were switched. I don't know, it just kind of seemed interesting, so, and it had some good reviews, so I'm kind of anxious to read this. So, yeah, it looks pretty short. I mean, it's, if you couldn't tell, it's like a really short book, and it's only like 250 pages long, so should be a pretty easy read. Take me like no time to read it, so I'll let you guys know how I like these. The next book I got, I have been really anxious to read. I've seen so many reviews on this lately, and it is Meade's Guide to the McGowan Boys by Kate Bryan, and I think this one just seems like a fun summer contemporary, or anytime contemporary. It's about this girl who has to move in with kind of like friends of the family type deal, and this family, however, is composed of 7 boys, and there's no girls, so she goes to stay with them, and falls, I guess it says she falls for one of the older ones, but then the other older one likes her, and so it kind of starts this like sibling rivalry type thing, so just kind of seemed like a fun read, so I'm really anxious to finally get my hands on this and read it and see for myself. The next book I have got has all of a sudden just become super popular lately, and it is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. I have seen a lot of reviews on this that have liked it, and it's kind of like that book that surprised everybody. They didn't think they were going to like it, but they ended up liking it, so I'm like, need to give this a try. Totally up my alley. And when I read the description of this, it reminded me vaguely of that movie Daybreakers, if you've seen it. So basically, instead of like your typical vampire movie where it's all humans and like the couple vampires, the whole world is basically overrun by vampires, and it's like about this girl, and there's like a group of humans that are left, and she ends up being turned into one, so she is kind of freaking out. I mean, it's not what she wanted to be, so it's kind of like this quest to find a cure that has been said that will save everybody, and yeah, it just kind of seemed interesting. I'm really anxious to get started with this and see how I like it. The next book I got is Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. I'm really excited to read this. I haven't read too many books about ghosts, especially like a romance type that involves ghosts, so I'm really anxious to see. I don't even think I've ever read a book that involves ghosts and romance in the same sentence. But yeah, I've seen a lot of good reviews on this, so I'm really excited to get my hands on it. So in case you don't know what it's about this boy who goes and he pretty much kills the undead, and he hears rumors of this girl who lives in this like old Victorian house, and Anna Dressed in Blood, and it is said that anyone who enters this house, she ends up killing, and yeah, it just kind of seems interesting, and apparently on the back it says he enters the house and she doesn't kill him, so kind of anxious to see where this goes, and yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know. I plan on doing a review on this, because I haven't seen too many reviews on it, so I'm really anxious to let my own out, so yeah. The next book I got I'm really, really excited for, and it is The Golden Lily by Richelle Meade. I cannot express how much I loved the Vampire Academy series. It's one of my all-time favorites. So when the new series came out, the spin-off from it, I was kind of skeptical to read it because I found out, not that I disliked Sydney as a character, but I wasn't that intrigued by her in the books. So when I found out that she was the person that was like the point of view, the narrator for it, I was kind of skeptical to read it. And then I also found out that Dimitri and Rose weren't in them as much, so I'm like, oh. But then I found out that Adrian is in it, and if you don't know me, I have a big place in my heart for Adrian. I love that character. And even though I didn't want him with Rose, I still love him. And I still have to read the first book in the series, just the original Bloodlines. So once I read that, I will read this. I need to read it really soon because I keep putting it off. I keep thinking if I wait and wait, the next book will just come out so I don't have to wait between books, which is terrible of me, I know. But I think I'm finally going to start reading it soon, so I'll let you guys know how I like this series. And I already kind of pretty much know I'm going to love it, so yeah. So the next book I got is kind of different. I didn't see myself ever really reading a book like this, and it is Hate List by Jennifer Brown. And I was kind of skeptical when I read what this book was about, but the reviews, all the reviews on it were really good, and I don't think I even saw one negative review on this, so I thought, well, since it's got so much hype, I guess I will finally read it for myself and see how I like it. When I read the synopsis for this, it kind of reminded me of something like the Columbine shooting, is basically almost what this is identical to. And it's about this girl and her boyfriend who are constantly bullied at school, so just for the fun of it, they make this list called the Hate List of all the people that has bullied them. So they end up making this list, and then after a little while, she goes to school and turns out that her boyfriend comes to school with a gun and ends up shooting a lot of students. And it's kind of, so if you know about the Columbine, which I don't know who isn't aware of the Columbine, the gist is it's about the girl and not the guy, though, if that makes sense. It's about her moving on from this situation and getting past it, because everyone thinks that she was associated with it, so she must have known that she was just as shocked, and it's just more about her trying to move on and get past this because someone she loved did this, and she obviously is just as distraught as the next person. So yeah, sounds like an interesting read, kind of depressing in a way, but I'll let you guys know how I thought about it, so I'm pretty anxious to finally see what all the hype is. The next book I got is Everneath by Brodi, Ashton, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I bought this mostly because of the cover. Well, I didn't buy it because of the cover, but I was attracted to it because of the cover. I mean, it's a gorgeous cover. But the synopsis is what really sold me. It's about this girl who, I guess, gets enticed to this world called the Everneath by a mysterious boy. And pretty much she didn't realize that you sell your soul to this place and you can't really go back. But so she just kind of goes missing from civilization, and the people from Everneath let her go back to Earth for 6 months to pretty much say her goodbyes. So she goes back up to find her boyfriend, who was distraught over her disappearance, and tries to probably explain to him what happened. But at the same time, the same guy that enticed her to go to this world comes with her. So kind of an interesting scenario, and I'm really anxious to read it and see what it's about. The next book I got is Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. Now this one kind of made me laugh at the situation here. So I know there's a lot of books coming out now about fallen angels, but this is one of the first ones that I read the synopsis for, and it said that these lives of the fallen angels literally depend on them being bad influences to other people. So I thought, oh my goodness, that's weird. Like, usually fallen angels, just in the books, turn out to be like the love interest. Of course, I'm sure he is. And they just don't try to make them be bad influences. I don't know. But from the base on the cover, I'm just guessing that he's the bad angel and she's the Southern Belle they're talking about. And I guess it's pretty much bad boy meets good girl. So I'm really interested to see what this is all about. I've seen a lot of people buying this lately. I haven't seen too many reviews on it, so I guess I'll just have to decide for myself. But yeah, I'm still anxious to read it. The next book I got is highly popular right now, especially I've noticed, and that is Keeping the Moon by Sarah Dessen. And let me just say, I was really excited that I could find the original cover, because when I was looking on Amazon, they switched it to all the new covers. So I figured since this is a used one, I was pretty sure it was old. And if I could have a little confession time right now, I have not read a Sarah Dessen novel yet, so I believe I picked one to read this month, and if I end up liking it, which I'm sure I will, it's widely popular, I'm just going to finish off the collection and buy them all while I can find the older covers so that I can have those. I'm not a fan too much of the newer covers, but yeah. Anywho, this book is about a girl who used to be overweight, and she loses all of the weight and ends up going to live with her aunt for a little bit, and it's kind of about her getting past her insecurities with that, and meets a new group of friends and a boy, of course. So really anxious to read this because I can relate to being insecure, just like the next girl that's usually probably, we all have our insecurities, so this one I'm really anxious to read just because it's more like something that you can really relate to in a real life situation, so really excited to get my hands on this. The next book I picked up is Switched by Amanda Hocking. I have seen a lot of this lately in like bookstores and people buying it, so I decided I need to buy this and see for myself. And I'm not too sure about the synopsis. I pretty much got the gist that she's a changeling, and her mother tried to kill her when she was a baby, and somewhat like a guy comes to bring her back to her world or something around those lines. I'm kind of confused. It wasn't a very good synopsis, I'm not going to lie, but with all the hype around it, I just wanted to read it and find out if I liked it and see if I want to continue the series. And yeah, I don't think I've read any book about a changeling. You get your typical like vampire, werewolf, angel, fairy, that sort of thing, but I don't think I've ever read one about a changeling, so I'm really excited. So yeah, let me know if you guys have liked this, because I haven't really heard too much about this, so yeah, let me know what you guys think of this book, and if I should read it, when I should read it, what thing. I mean, of course I'm going to read it, bad thing to say, but if I should read it soon. So the next book I have been wanting for the longest time, and that is The Duff, The Designated Ugly Fat Friend by Kody Keplinger. I have seen a lot of reviews on this recently, and I'm like, okay, I just need to finally man up and get this book. And I've seen it, I think almost every time I go to the bookstore. I've had my eye on this, and I keep thinking I was going to buy it, but I kept putting it off, so now I'm finally buying it. And I just think, just the title alone seems funny, and I kind of like those hilarious, kind of like chick lit reads. And basically, it's about the Duff, the designated ugly fat friend, and this boy that kind of teases her, and something happens where they end up kind of falling for each other, so seems like an interesting concept, so I'm really anxious to read this, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So the next book I got, I've actually never heard of before till I saw it online, and that is Epic Spell by Claire Lazebnik. I can't even say that last name. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. And what I got about the gist of this was, it's kind of like a modern day twist on Pride and Prejudice, and so if you're not familiar with that storyline, it's basically two sisters, and one of them falls for like this wealthy type guy, and he has a friend that's just as wealthy, and since those two are together, it kind of forces them to talk and whatnot, and kind of the girl has got all these pride issues that, oh, she's not going to go with him because of all this money and reputation, so it just kind of sounded fun. I love the original storyline of Pride and Prejudice, the book and the movie, so kind of interested to see the modern day version of this, how they did it, so yeah, really anxious to read this. Alright, so the last book that I got is My Blood Approves, also by Amanda Hocking. I didn't notice that similarity till just now. Wow, I don't know where I've been. I can't remember, I watched a review on this just recently, and so I just was really hyped up, and I've seen this on Amazon, and I just never really picked it up. And when I read the synopsis of this, I was really reminded of The Vampire Diaries. Anyone? If you read it? Basically, this girl falls for a boy, and turns out he's a vampire. And then enters his mysterious dark brother, who's also a vampire, that she starts to fall for, but this guy wants like nothing to do with her. So, kind of just, I don't know, I see the similarities there. I hope it's not like a copycat of that book. I will be very disappointed, because if you don't know me, I have a love for The Vampire Diaries, so hopefully this doesn't disappoint, but I've heard a lot of good things about this, so hopefully I end up liking it and can continue the series. Alright, hopefully you guys are still sticking with me after that long haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what books I should start first. I love any recommendations. That kind of helps me choose which one I want to read next, because right now I'm really confused, and yeah. So let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, what your favorites are, so forth, and yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye!